Hebrew tongue, Bethesda, having 5 porches, which Lisa has explained everything. And in these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. In other words, bubbled it, moved it, wiggled it, whatever you want to call it. And whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. And Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case. He saith unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? And the impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. While I'm coming, another steppeth down before me. So you can imagine, if he's not even capable of getting himself into the pool, somebody had to bring him every day, put him down there, but they didn't hang around to throw him in the water, right? So he's on his own, and that's sometimes the way we are. You know, we find ourselves in a situation where we have no help, all right? So in this case, though, he had nobody to put him in. So then Jesus said, Rise up, take thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked, and on the same day was the Sabbath. Okay, so we know from this example and others that man was not made for the Sabbath, that the Sabbath was made for man. Okay, one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that, well, in this situation, how come we've got all of these people who are waiting around for the water to move, and yet only one man was healed? We know Jesus, whenever he was walking anywhere, people were touching the hem of his garment, and he was healing the blind man and deaf people, and just like anybody who came, they were being healed. And yet here, we only know of one person that was healed. And what was the difference between him and everybody else? Everybody else's sight was on the moving water. His sight was on the Lord who could heal him. And so sometimes we lose sight of the real place of healing for the things that are going on in our life. More often spiritual things, you know, that we lose sight of. Of course, sometimes physical things as well. But I would just suggest to you that there's a good lesson here in just keeping your eyes on the Lord as much as you can, as often as you can. Try not to be distracted by moving waters that are around you, because there's plenty of those, aren't there?
Right. Yes.
All right, thank you.
What's the reference?
It's John 5:2.
Which miracles are written
Pools of
only in the book of
Bethesda
John?
are here.
How many miracles did Jesus do in Jerusalem according to the book of John? 2. And both of them at the pool. Siloam pool yesterday, and here the paralyzed man and the blind man there, paralyzed man. And I always like these comparisons. Remember who met David on the walls of the ancient Jebusites, and they put their people, blind and crippled people, on the walls. So that was kind of ancient curse, not to let David's army enter the city. So, and somewhere I read that now we can see that blind people, they now can see, and paralyzed people can walk and greet the Messiah. Previously, yes, they were trying to get rid of the dynasty of David, but now they welcome him to the city. We have to come to the church.